Good morning from a lovely spring morning in Brooklyn, New York. We're at the tip of Bedford Avenue, the longest running avenue in Brooklyn that connects Brooklyn south to north. I have a big mission today. Me and my cameraman are gonna try to cover the whole stretch to give you a sense of the diversity in the many different neighborhoods that encapsulate Brooklyn, of which one is the Hasidic community and is a part of the story of the bike lane that runs through this avenue. It's early morning, there's a lot of exercise ahead. So this is the very southern tip, Bedford and Eminence. This is Sheepshead Bay. It's really beautiful here, but it's just like a port, no beach, and we're gonna head this way to start moving up north in Brooklyn towards Manhattan. Brooklyn is full of these "The Messiah is Here" sign. That's the Chabad Lubavitch group's posters. Even the politics of Brooklyn, you sense a shift between south to north. For instance, in the northern part closer to Manhattan, you're very likely to see a lot of Democratic sentiments, whereas in the southern parts, you'll see more Republican sentiments. We're coming up to Avenue Z. We get such beautiful spring flowering here with all the trees in season. It's like all these cherry blossoms. So there you can see the whole bike lane running on this part of Bedford Avenue in both directions. I like the little hearts on the floor. Where like every house has a big fat driveway. That's like unimaginable in the rest of Brooklyn. I walk like a New Yorker. You want me to slow down? I have 10 miles to cover.
I'm walking here.
I'm walking here. We're in a nicer part of like mid-Brooklyn. We're actually in sort of the Midwood area, and there is a very significant Jewish population here. It's like a sizable Orthodox Jewish community, although not Hasidic. That is the coolest font on a Hebrew Jewish building I've seen before. When my son was looking at colleges, we looked at Brooklyn College, and this is like a really interesting contrast in the middle of everything. It's bustling, it's huge. These red brick buildings that go like 6-7 floors high. They're all over this part of Brooklyn. I live in one of them. They're pre-war buildings and they all are like, look at that, City Bike. City Bike is this fantastic network of bike rentals we have. For some reason, the people that are further down in the suburbs who need the City Bikes more don't get it. If I sound like I'm a City Bike ad, it's because I love City Bike.
This video is not sponsored by City Bike.
We are now right south of Prospect Park, Brooklyn's big park, our central park. And this area, which is actually my neighborhood, is also Little Caribbean and Little Haiti. You have a lot of that culture around here right south of Prospect Park. Okay, we've made it to the top of Prospect Park. Prospect Park is about a mile, but it's a serious mile. It is a mile uphill, going from south to north. It is a beautiful park. We also have over here, right behind me, we have the Brooklyn Museum. We have that iconic oi/yo sign. You can see it from whichever way, you get that Brooklyn vibe. There's also like a smell of pot that's prevalent a lot here, which we didn't experience in the suburbs of Brooklyn. I'm getting to the point where I'm a little like spaced out in my head. It's right before Passover, and the Chabad Lubavitch community is organizing to give people matzahs for Passover. So we're seeing a lot of Lubavitchers out. There's the Chabad mobile. Okay, so here's something you should know about Brooklyn. It has this kind of bipolarity where you'll go one block and you'll have beautiful gentrified homes, like super new, and then you'll go another block and it'll look completely like run down and like you don't want to live in that area. It really changes by block, and you get a feel for that once you walk this part of Brooklyn. And it's like my neighborhood is like that as well. So we've come to the start of the Hasidic neighborhood. We're starting to see some of the symbols of the Hasidic community, including school buses and this school building with Hebrew on it. So we're still in this mixed neighborhood, quite a stretch of brownstones, old buildings mixing with the beginning of where the Hasidic community is expanding from Williamsburg into Bed-Stuy. This is a storefront that we're starting to see the beginning of Hasidic shops. This is actually a space you can go use the internet. It's called Access to Work, to shop, to play, not so much. But even the fact that to shop has become acceptable, to go to a place and to use the internet, I think speaks to some kind of change. I love this. Uncommon Schools, Hasidic ad. So a lot of people are cleaning their stuff for Passover. They can't fit it all in their shop, so they have this extension for Passover. Oh my God, look at this. Someone's Passover orders, groceries. So these are all the parts of Bedford Avenue where the Hasidic community has been expanding into in recent years, where there have been a bike lane for a long time. It's just been redone now. And you can see they've installed barriers to protect the bicyclists. So there's been a lot of work done on these bike lanes. And this is what's been recently nicknamed the new dangerous bike lane because of the renovations. But as we walk, and we're gonna keep walking this way, up north, we're gonna start to see that actually the bike lane doesn't go all the way, and you'll see. You know what I'm really surprised by? These are bike locking stations. Considering that people here seem to use the bike lane more as a sidewalk and as a passage to the cars, it's really amazing how much the bicyclists have been taken into account here. We just saw 1 second ago over there all of the amenities to cyclists, and right over here, suddenly there's no bike lane at all actually. And that's because the Hasidic community lobbied to have the bike lane moved. This goes back years ago. And it's actually been rerouted off of Bedford Avenue for this portion. This is the older section of Williamsburg. But as the community expanded that way, they moved into the area of the bike lane. This is a booth over here where there is a little station for Sham, the Williamsburg Sham. This is a community patrol organization. A lot of people call it their own police force. It's not the community's own police force. It's a community patrolling organization that works side by side with the NYPD, the New York Police Department. But they will often have on Shabbos someone stationed here to be able to assist anyone who needs something done on Shabbos that is not permitted for Orthodox Jews to do. Okay, let's go. The Bedford Avenue Bakery. Oh, nice. 3-color cake. I think I'm gonna have some good old classic rugula. How was that?
Great.
Good? This used to be the Wonder Bread factory. It's now the Skve Yeshiva. And right next to it, we have a former public school, and also it used to be a Beis Yaakov girls' school, and it's now a wedding hall and a girls' school for the Satmar sect. This says the whole building is kosher for Passover. Everything's cleaned. Look, we've come upon another one of these access to work, to shop. We've walked long enough until we found a franchise. So there's a lot of history in these buildings. Just look at the architecture. It's amazing. A lot of the homes in this stretch used to be the homes of very wealthy people, mansions. Look at this. So up ahead over here in that mansion is the home of the Grand Rabbi of Satmar. There are two now. The younger brother lives in that corner, and we have the unfinished synagogue behind it. It was never finished because of a dispute over who it belongs to in the Satmar sect between the two brothers, who each ended up leading their own factions in the South Merced. So this is all old Hasidic Williamsburg, real center of life. And as you can see, there's no bike lane here. There, we can see from here, there's Kent Avenue, and that's where the bike lane has been moved over. Okay, this is where Bedford Avenue actually turns. You can see it goes on an angle and we're curving and it continues on. So we've made it all the way to over here. Look, let me show you. There is the Freedom Tower. See? So this is it. This is where the Hasidic neighborhood essentially ends. This is the last of it. Well, that's the end, essentially, almost, of our big stretch through Bedford Avenue and all of Brooklyn. Behind me is the Williamsburg Bridge. The train is going rumbling by, coming in from Manhattan. It's been a really interesting adventure, a very long day, probably the longest shoot I've had, and I thank you all so much for coming along with me on this adventure. That's it.